Hello and good evening, or should I say good morning. It's about just after 2 a.m. while I'm filming this video. Sandy is asleep. I am a night owl, so you might get a lot of videos uploaded from me or recorded from me very, very late at night. I like to work at night. It's quiet. Put a movie on and I can just pound away or whatever. But anyway, welcome to my channel. This is another video to just give you a heads up about some things in China that you may come across. Now, this was, I came here about a little over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago or so, and you're always going to run into problems with the school or company you work for here. One, the language barrier. If they give you a contract, they're going to translate it into English, but the wording is a little off, and it's always going to be to their advantage, not your advantage. It's supposed to, and I highly recommend this, in the contract, make sure it says that if there is a dispute, the English part of the contract is what will be upheld, because you obviously aren't going to understand Chinese, and unless you pay for a lawyer, and I mean, it's just a huge thing. Pretty much everything's going to go to their advantage. So that's just one way you can get a little, a little foot up on things here. Not to mention, they just have different business, practices and customs, and it just makes everything really, really frustrating. So here's what happened to me, and I really hope this never happens to any of you. I worked for the same company for the first 2 years I was here. Basically what happened is I was hired by company A, and they contracted me to a school, company B. And I taught high school, 10th to 12th grade. And I want to make this perfectly clear. I never had a problem with the school. This is a problem with the company that I was, hired directly from, okay? So none of the school, no problem, the employees, no problem. But I had a nightmare with my company. First of all, when I was still back in the States, they said, we need you here in 6 days. When I signed the contract and sent it back, or the offer letter, I should say, they said, we need you here in 6 days. I had to go and get my visa, I had to go do, all this type of stuff, which I did. And I actually got there on the 5th day after I signed the offer letter. They didn't have a single American teacher in the program, and the school actually had a Canadian section and an American section, so there was no American teachers. So I was going to be the only one. I was told I'd be the lead teacher, I'd also be a sports coach, and basically I would be creating the program, building it, helping them build it and stuff like that, and when anybody came in, I was going to be the manager. I was told this flat out in 2 or 3 of my interviews over Skype before I even set foot in China. So, okay, great, that sounds good, okay? When I first got there, I went into my apartment and it was disgusting. It hadn't been cleaned in months. I don't remember when the previous teacher left, but there's soot, and I had mentioned this before, there was like soot and grime all over the bathroom, and all the pots and pans were burned beyond use or clean. You couldn't clean them again. Scale of 1 to 10, it was a 3, okay? 10 being the cleanest. It was just, a disaster. So the assistant, and like I said, you always get, or at least you should always have a Chinese liaison assistant that's supposed to help you with anything, acclimating to China and helping you out with buying things or whatever. She says, okay, give me a list of everything you need, for the kitchen, for the bathroom, for this, that. What do you need? I'll order it. It'll be here in a few days. Boom, you're good to go. So I gave her a list the next day when I went to school. Water cooler, pots and pans, hot plate, rice cooker, because when I plugged in the rice cooker, it exploded. I mean, rice going everywhere, water all over, electric sparks. I mean, it was crazy. And so I gave her all that. She said she'd order it. I waited, figured a week at the most, and never got a thing. Okay? And I asked her constantly, and she just was ignoring me on this, right? So, problem number 1. I went to the school, and the teaching assistant, the assistant says, okay, get in there, start teaching. And I'm like, well, what am I teaching? She goes, anything you want, make it up. Well, that's not a really good plan. I was teaching 6 classes a day, 10th and 12th graders, and I had to basically build my own thing. I didn't have anything to go. So make sure it's clear what you're going to be teaching. Is there a book that you're going to be teaching from, a program you're going to be teaching from, a website, whatever? That's something that you have to follow, build off of, whatever. I had none of that. So I arrived on the 28th of February. I started work on the 1st of March. I was told I'd be paid every month on the 10th. Fine, so April 10th would be my first day, or my first payday. No problem. No problem with that. I didn't get paid until the 13th of June. So all of March, all of April, all of May, June. Okay? You're going on basically 4 months, no pay. And another problem is I never met the owners. I didn't know what the hierarchy, who's the boss, who's the manager, who's this, who's that, okay? The assistant basically said, get in there and start working. And there wasn't anybody I could talk to. It's not like, hey boss, I got a problem with this, I'm not getting my pay. And they go, oh, talk to HR, they'll handle it or whatever. And whenever I asked the assistant to help me, she would say, yeah, sure, let me make a call. And then it was, oh, I'm waiting, and nothing ever happened. So I didn't meet the owner until June 25th, and I remember the date specifically, and I'll talk about that later. Okay, and my biggest complaint at that point was, hey, I've been here for 3.5, 4 months. Where's my money? So the owner says, okay, we're going to give you your money on the 10th, and it's going to be on the 10th, not late. I guarantee it from that point forward. That was another lie. I did not get paid on time for the first 9 months I was there. So I think it was October or November of that year I finally got my first paycheck on the 10th, and then even after that a couple of times it was late. Okay, and I think after the second year it was only late 3 times. But it was late anywhere from 1 to 12 days after that meeting. Okay, before that meeting, it was that huge 3.5, 4 month time frame. So I was also told at the meeting that we are hiring 2 new teachers for the new semester. We're going to have 3 teachers, 3 American teachers in our program. We want you to design a program. They're going to, you're the manager, and they're going to be working for you, and you pick this class, and they're going to teach this or whatever. Great. Okay. So over the summer, I built a full curriculum. Science, math, history, English, government, blah, 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 all these things I put together. I mean, I have this whole huge thing. It was really, really nice. And so go into the office, and 2 days before the semester starts, and they go, oh, this new teacher, he's the manager, and you work for him. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this in June? Why would you tell me in June I'm going to be the manager? And it's basically 3 days before the semester ends. I didn't work over the summer. What changed? Okay, if it changed, fine, just tell me. But they're worried I'm going to find a new job over the summer at another school in China, take off, and they're stuck. So they do this whole thing where it's like they don't tell you until the last second. They don't want to have any conflict initially. They want to wait until the last possible second to drop it on you. So it's always a secret. The new manager is a weak guy. He's still there. And he got the job because, and I'm going to be blunt, and if he sees this, I'm sorry, but you're spineless, and you were hired because they can control you easily. Okay? That's the truth. I am somebody, I tell the truth, good or bad, directly. And I'll get to the end, at the end of this, I'll talk about when I actually spoke to one of the high managers in the company a few weeks before my second contract ended. Just was back in February, end of January of this year. Okay, and my contract ended at the end of February of this year. But basically, the new manager, yeah, he would complain just like me and the other teacher, and bitch and this type of thing, but when it came to actually standing up to the owners and the management, he would just fold. Okay, and he'll be there probably as long as he wants a job because he does whatever they say. Okay, so my apartment, I had problems. Like I said, it was very dirty. But I had problems with the electrical. You know, I told you, I plugged the rice thing in, boom, it blows up. It popped all the circuits in there. They had to bring an electrician in, and it took weeks to get an electrician to come in, so I didn't have power for 2 weeks at one point. The water, out of a week, I was lucky if I had water 2 or 3 days out of the week. So I started keeping these large, half-gallon bottle of water in there, and I'd go in the morning, oh, is it a good day? And the water would come on, oh, it's a crap day, I'm going to have to take a shower with a bottle, and luckily, I'm bald, so it was easy to clean my hair and stuff, and I have to say this, despite all these problems, I love teaching the kids, I love teaching at the school, and I had never missed a day, and I was never late, never sick for one single class the entire time I've been in China. If it's a work day, I'm at work, sick, dying of this. I got hit by a car, and I'll put that in another video, 2 Christmases ago, and that was on a Saturday. Yeah, a Saturday, and I was at work on Monday, and I literally got hit at about 35 miles an hour, and I flipped over the hood, and I tore up my coat a little bit and hurt my back, and it hit me kind of in the butt and the hip. And it was actually a rather funny thing, but I'll talk about that another time. So back to the apartment, not having water. Okay, my upstairs neighbors had a leak in their kitchen sink, dripped down through my ceiling, all over the wall, floor, the countertop. It cracked the countertop. The plaster was falling all over the wallpapers, peeling everything. I mean, it just caused water damage, which led to mold. And then the plastering starts falling. So I'm cooking, and boom, I get hit, on my beautiful, bald, shiny head with plaster. I'm telling the school, telling the people, about this, and they're like, okay, we'll get somebody to fix it. They fix it. The upstairs neighbors, I guess they turned off the water. They didn't fix it, but they turned off the water. I thought it was fixed, so the water stops. And the company I work for sends in a repair guy, and he comes in with stucco plastering, and he's just slathering over the mold and slathering over the holes, and basically it's just a big gob, but it's nice and clean and white. And they're like, okay, it's done. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not fixed at all. I said, did they fix the leak? Oh yeah, it's fine, they're telling me. And I'm like, okay, well, what about the hole? It's just bubble gums and Band-Aid, basically, it's fine. I said, if the water starts leaking again, or if there's a problem, I mean, it's going to fall down. And I said, what about, it's not fixed properly. It's fine. So, of course, within 3 months, I guess they turn the sink water back on upstairs. It starts leaking worse than before, and it just tears holes. And I'll post at some point the pictures. I got video and pictures of the water dripping down. It's really, really bad. So I complained to the American manager, Mr. Spineless, every day about this and complaining, and I'm sending messages to the owners and the other managers and this and that, and they never fixed the ceiling. They finally fixed the leak upstairs, but the hole in the ceiling is just, and the mold is still there, and the day I left that apartment, I had left the key on the table and I left, and the next day the girl came in to check it. It still was not fixed. 2 years to the day, nothing got repaired in that apartment unless I did it. I did some repairs and things here and there, and I improved. I even left furniture there because I didn't want to haul it to my girlfriend's house and store it, so I'm just going to buy new furniture. But I left it in a far better condition, clean, neat, organized than when I went in. Okay? Alright, so back to the company. Let's see. By my count, and I may be off 1 or 2 either way, they broke the terms of my contract 27 times over the course of 2 years. That includes, not paying on time, big flat out lying about promises. I got an offer letter that says you're going to get a bonus at the end of your first year. And then when I tried to talk to them about that, they're like, oh, we're going to give that, we don't have any money right now. Sign the contract for the second year. And when we give bonuses for the second year, in the 6 months later, we're going to give you your first year bonus. Told that directly by the manager. Okay, maybe I was stupid at the time, but okay, you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't. Okay? They told us we were going to get the pay raise at the end of the summer or the early start of the new school year, which is August, September. We didn't get that until February, the following year. Okay? So, more breaches of contract. Why am I telling you all this? I don't want you to go through it. From the beginning, make sure you tell whoever is supposed to help you exactly what you need, what you want, and what is the time frame. So you say, I need a new water cooler in my apartment and I need it by next Friday. Who's doing this? When are they going to call? When is it going to get done? What's the confirmation that it's been ordered? I mean, you've got to be specific. It's like talking to a 3-year-old. Make sure you eat your vegetables. Then you eat this. Then you clean your bowl. Then you put it in the dishwasher. You know, you got to talk to them step by step by step, because if you don't, they don't care. They don't care. Now, okay, so just don't leave any details out. Now, I've worked for a lot of other schools, probably, I don't know, 12 or 15 different schools since I've been in China. Part-time, you know, I do this on call. One school calls me if they have big classes on Saturdays and Sundays at a training center school. One of their teachers calls in sick. They call me at the last minute. I go in and I teach all day and I make like 1,000 renminbi or whatever it is. Okay. Never had a single problem with these places. Just the company that I was officially working for. Okay. I've gone into these other places, and the second I finish the class and all the students leave, boom, they're sending me the money on WeChat. And I've got it right there in my WeChat account. Or they hand me cash. They're like, here you go, count it out, make sure it's all there. And please come back, you know, can you work next weekend? And everything like that. They're very straight up. I've never had a problem. This company, I don't know what the problem is. So, I really just wanted the terms, what they said in the contract, to be upheld. I didn't want more. I never asked for a pay raise of anything crazy. You know, between my first and second year, before I signed the second contract, I said, hey, can I get a pay raise? I got the most minuscule one. Most schools here, if you re-sign for a second year, they are so happy, because it's a hassle to bring teachers over, to go through the whole visa process, that they will give you a 20% raise, 30% bonuses, free flights. They'll give you this type of stuff. So know this going in and clearly talk to them about it. Okay? About a month and a half before my contract ended, the manager comes to visit from Shanghai. And it's the American teacher manager, spineless guy, and the manager from Shanghai, a woman, and myself. And we're in the main area office for our department. And students going in and out, and basically they said, oh, you're a terrible teacher, but we want you to sign a 30-year contract. And I said, I want to sign a 30-year contract because I like working for the school, not the company. I want to make that clear again. I said, absolutely, I'll sign a contract when you pay me the bonus you promised from the first year and the bonus that you promised this year that was already at that point 6 months late, 5 months late, you know, roughly. I said, once I have all that money, then we can talk about the terms of a new contract. We're not giving you the money for the first year. Oh, wow. And I got the offer letter here. I can dig it up, and it says right there, you know, you get this, you get this, you get health insurance, you get a bonus at the end of the first year. All places give you a bonus at the end of the first year. If you don't negotiate that in, you're losing out, because they'll give it to you. Okay? So I said, all right, here's how it's going to work. And I basically told them, you're crooks, you're criminals. I said, you know, if we were in the States, I'd file charges and have you arrested for fraud. And it's the truth. I talk straight, you know, good or bad, I'm going to tell you the truth. It pissed her off. So I said, all right, I'm done talking. By January 10th, if you don't pay me all the money you promised, I'm not re-signing. So on the 10th, I checked my bank. I did get paid on time. I will give them that. But I didn't get my first year bonus or my second year bonus. And they sent me a letter saying, okay, thank you for working us for 2 years, basically a FU letter, and we will pay you your second year bonus by this date in the end of February, or I'm sorry, February 10th. Yes, February 10th. So a month later, I did not get that until March 10th. So there was another breach of contract. I should have added that in. And so basically I ended up telling him, look, I gave him an ultimatum. You're not going to pay me on this day. I quit. And that's what happened. So my plan is, once I get a little bit more settled, because I've moved into a new apartment and everything like that, probably next month, I am going to whatever government office handles problems with businesses. I have a friend of mine who works for Bank of China, who is a lawyer, and I'm going to file a complaint. Now, I know nothing will come out of this positive for me. I will not get money. I will not shut the company down. But I just want to make a point that they cannot get away with ripping off people, okay? Because a lot of these people, oh, they're foreigners, they don't know what's going on here, we're going to run right over them. And like I said, this is the only people I've had this problem with. And I've worked for 12 or 15 other little schools and, big schools for that matter, and companies. Never had a problem. Never had a lie, no fraud, no nothing, but this company is just terrible. Okay? And I hope that if I file a complaint, it just puts a little sticky note in their file with the government, and it causes some sort of little domino effect, is my hope, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Okay. So the old company, they're actually opening up their own kindergarten in this city where I live. I happen to work for a kindergarten now, and I work for a very nice school. It is top of the line, clean, immaculate. It is just beautiful. I mean, tuition is like $10,000 or $12,000 US dollars a year for this kindergarten. It is beautiful. And I tell because I still see one of the old teachers. She's a really good teacher, a friend of mine. And we do a English corner once a week. It's basically where Chinese come and talk and stuff like that and practice their English, and we get paid a little bit of money on the side. Side jobs, that's the way to make some good money. And she said she gave her resignation last week, and she's going to another school in the city. So it made me a little happy that they're going to be down one more teacher, because they still haven't filled my position from when I quit, or when I ended my contract back in February. So what will happen is the teacher that's there, Mr. Spineless, is going to be the only one, and he hates teaching. And they've been putting ads up, please come work at the high school, and then come work at our new kindergarten. And they even changed the name, or they named the kindergarten something that's completely different than the company name. So I'm sure that's a way to kind of hide, their shame or whatever. They don't want people to go, oh, that company has issues. So I'm going to file a complaint under both names, or however it works. I just want the government to know that this is the company name. This is the school that they have, the kindergarten, and these people are crooks. That's all I want them to know. So I'm not going to say names on here. I'm not going to talk about the company name or whatever. If you message me, I'll tell you the name, because I don't want you applying for a job with them. And I see on WeChat on the groups, oh, we need a job at that, they need teachers at that company. And I want to say something, but I don't do anything on there. I'm not going to directly smear their name in public, but privately I will tell you the truth about it. If I see those people, I'm going to tell them to their face that they're still crooks. I don't care. But anyway, so that's that. I know this one's a little bit more intense and kind of negative from the other ones, but despite all the problems I had with this company, had they paid me, I would have resigned. Why? I loved working at that school. I loved my students. I loved teaching my classes. I loved it. Okay? But I had been working part-time at this other school for about 6 months, and they offered me a really nice job, 2-year contract. I got a beautiful apartment now. I mean, it has its little problems. Every place is going to have its problems. There's a problem with my sink that I just need to get some putty and fix it, or have a handyman come over, because it's hard to find hardware supplies and stuff here. But things are great. But I would have stayed with them had they paid me. and, given me a little bit better contract and stuff like that, but it's over now. I don't care. So, just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It may sound a little morose or depressing or whatever, but you need to know this stuff, okay? Be specific, be direct, and be ready to say, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to sign this. I'm not going to do this. And always have like a side job ready to go in case your school isn't working. You have this other one you can just transfer right in, okay? Just know these things. I just don't want you guys going through the same disaster of a first year or two that I did. But despite all that, I love it here. I love it here, and I wouldn't change it. I'm glad that I came here, and I just look at that as kind of growing pains. So, you guys have a good night. I've been talking for 25-30 minutes. I gotta get these videos down in time, maybe to 10 or 15 minutes tops. So, as always, chinaconsulting@mail.com. If you have any questions, any problems, any concerns, comment below. Please message me, anything. You can chat or whatever. I'll give you my WeChat. And I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.